First up in the leagues, though, we have a slight update to the Naduless Nadu deck. Maybe it's maybe a little bit more than slight. So one thing is I'm backing on Flare of Cultivation over the Wall of Roots that we were playing. Flare gives you slightly faster starts when you have Grazer. Also, Flare is just kind of better to have in your deck when you're comboing. It's like there have been several times when I've been going through the loops that I've been thinking if this was a Flare instead of a Wall of Roots, this would help me advance my board state by putting more lands into play for landfall triggers and for lands to sack to Sylvan Safekeeper to trigger Titania. So backing on that, and then I'm also main decking a Collector Ouphe and main decking a Harbinger of Seas. I think that this deck is like a little too slow to reliably try to just try to race Breach game one. You could race it. You know, you have a good amount of turn 4 wins. You can win on turn 3 with like your very best draws, but to me, it seems like if you just play one Collector Ouphe that you can Chord or Greensun for, you're cooking. And if you play one Harbinger Seas in the main deck, all of a sudden your Eldrazi matchup and your Titan matchups improve a lot too. And so I think that, although you can't Greensun for this, you can still Chord for it. So I think that this is a nice little include. And then against Boros, you want to cut the Ouphe and the Harbinger for another endurance. And so you could do this in any matchup where like none of these are super effective, which is not going to be that common, but at the very least, you'll always have 2 endurance to swap these out for. Playing a Soulless Jailer as an anti-storm core target that is also kind of duels as a good anti-breach targets. I decided to play Collector Ouphe as my tutorable disenchant. Oh, sorry, not Collector, Outland Liberator as my tutorable disenchant. Not feeling like super duper strong about this versus Insidious Fungus versus Reclamation Sage. That's just where I'm at the moment. Middle with the 22 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So let's get into a league here, and then the challenge, as usual, is starting in like 55 minutes. Ooh, nice hand. Yeah, this is also something I missed when I was playing Wall of Roots over Flare. Just the ability to go turn 2 Nissa plus fetch land. Yeah, it's nice that wasn't a challenge match. You know, it is what it is. Not Breach. They're playing just normal Affinity. I almost feel bad that I have. I almost feel bad that I have a main deck Collector Ouphe. They're not playing the build we've been playing. They're playing White Splash for Dispatch Portable Hole, I would imagine. Didn't mean to make white mana, but it's not going to end up mattering. I swear I had caffeine today. Okay, so very high chance we combo off on turn 3 this game, which is nice. If they don't have like Dispatch. Yeah, I'm excited for the Counterspell Urza deck. A little bit harder to misclick with that one too. Just a little bit. Look good. It looked really good this week. I'm excited about it. If it goes well, I might play it in the Hunter Burton this upcoming weekend. Challenge starts about 40 minutes. So they might have a Rebuke in their hand. I think we'll play around the Rebuke. So like we're going to miss a Springheart Nantuko trigger, so we have the ability to pay. Seems like something worth doing. Do you know if there's any Green Sun Cyborg tech to answer Ketramos? I mean, green creatures are not super famous for their ability to deal with indestructible creatures. So as far as I can tell, nothing is coming off the top of my head. Basically, the only creature that like really deals with it. Oh, nice. Okay, that worked out. The only creature that really deals with it is Asmo, because it like Asmo plus Shadow Spear does some work. All right, this Rebuke is going to stop me from probably being able to combo off this turn, although it is possible. The Endurance is actually a pretty good hit for our ability to possibly combo off. So we get a token, we get a green. Doesn't really matter if we surveil this into the yard because we're just about to endurance it back in. Okay, so let me go endurance pitch Nissa. You always want to stack it so that the evoke resolves before the shuffle in. We need to hit a land, although we do have this flare. Yeah, missing on this land is pretty tough. I can flare for 1 more mana, but I can't really do anything after that. So yeah, they have successfully stopped me this turn with the rebuke. Let's attack for 5. And then it's going to be pretty tough for them to kill me or stop from being killed next turn. Oh, I guess they could have popped this lantern with my hoof in the yard. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Yeah, I still haven't seen the this Steel Overseer build of Blue Scales. I've seen Blue Scales with 4 main deck Welding Jar and main deck Kappa Cannoneer. What's kind of weird is it's just like how good is Scales with Kappa Cannoneer? Maybe it is really good. I don't, for some reason I'm not like that excited about the prospect. I don't know. Maybe I should be excited about it. Yeah, I know Flare is non-token. If Flare wasn't non-token, no, I guess it didn't make sense to sack earlier than that. Thanks, Miller. Thanks, Ass. Okay, so breaking up the Nantuko Reef thing. Bosch posted a league with Breach last night and was saying he thinks modern players will miss Breach being the best deck when it gets banned, and I'm kind of right there with him. Yeah, I've been saying that I have really been enjoying this era of Breach being the best deck. It has certainly been the best era in about 8 months of Modern. I don't know what replaces Breach as the best deck if Underworld Breach gets banned. I mean, it is Titan, but like, is that ever going to change? Probably not. It is Titan right now, also. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so let's let them draw their card. Maybe the best deck will be Naduless Nadu, huh? Subcatcher will be the best. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, so I think that you could actually say pretty confidently that probably won't happen, right? Because Ketramos is like one of the main things it's doing in the metagame is it's like the best tier 1 deck in the format against Breach combo. So I think it is actually hard to be like Ketramos will be the best when its best matchup gets banned, but could be. And I probably need to actually get more used to like trimming 1 Nissa post board, especially when you bring in like better 2 to target. I don't know if that actually makes sense. No, I don't know. It's so tough because everything is so good. I think I'm just doing a little trim and 1 Grazer, 3 Nantuko, 3 Flare. Do you really think Underworld Breach gets banned, not just the Mox Opals? Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this for a long time, but yeah, I would certainly prefer to see Breach get banned instead of Mox Opal. They're both very good cards. Breach, to me, it feels like the bigger problem. I've also been playing a lot of other Mox Opal decks, and Mox Opal, I think, is a card I like being in Modern. It's a card that is actually, like, Opal is a card that's easy to hate out. Underworld Breach is a card that's not easy to hate out, is maybe a good way to, is how I've been thinking about it. I don't know if that helps articulate my position. But it's just like I think the card Mox Opal is easy enough to hate out. I think the card Underworld Breach is very difficult to hate out. Like I've lost multiple games, on turn 3 when I've had a Force of Negation, Force of Vigor. My opponent has still like comboed off through it on turn 3, and then like that's because of Breach's resilience more so than like Mox Opal's fast mana, in my opinion. But like they do work very well together. How about the card Urza Saga? I mean, Urza Saga also pretty easy card to hate out. Not exactly a fan of banning it. So I can go Springheart Nantuko, make 2 tokens, Chord for 2, get a Collector Ouphe. Another thing too is like Underworld Breach is a very broken card, one of the worst designed cards ever, banned in Legacy, banned in Pioneer. I don't really feel like it's a big stretch to say this card could deserve a ban. I think Belcher would be super well positioned. Maybe, but Belcher's also a deck, you know, that you can hate out. I agree that Belcher could be a good pick. Probably should cycle the Spell Bomb. Like, I don't know, is I just feel like you can hate out Mox Opal. Okay, so we take 5. The Nantuko will give us a steady stream of chump blockers. Guess I'll surveil. Holding a fetch lane can be pretty important for Nissa, but I think we'll just surveil. I guess if they have a needling the Heath would be kind of bad for me. It'd be the best thing they could get because of the Ouphe. It's a fun one. Could copy the Collector Ouphe. I think copying Nantuko is better. It's also more fun. Did we get a little punished? I don't know. Probably. Let's say no. I think instead of playing it, making another Ouphe, I'm gonna make an oh right, we only one of those is a copy trigger. Another Ouphe it is. I'll think I'll start attacking with the insects next turn. But yeah, I think you can contain Mox Opal. You know, this is at least I think it's doable. All right. Looks like we have enough time to play one more before the challenge. Beautiful ham. Unfortunately, we're on the draw. It looks pretty interesting. This build. I have not cast a Steel Overseer in many moons. Was the first Naduless post Nadu pre? I think it was post Green Sun was the first build. Green Sun's like just so important because like getting multiple reefs into play is just a huge part of like how this deck functions, and Green Sun is a big part of being able to do that, of course. M3 at the 22 months. Hope you're doing well. Imp. Yeah, I do think that Breach being a top deck ends up becoming. I think the format usually is better than it's better than when maybe Energy's the best deck. Hard to say. I've at least been having a good time this season. We'll just see what next evolution looks like, as always. The next BNR is creeping up on us. Classic Solitude Pause. Hello, Canny. That was the Amulet matchup. We have a main deck Harbinger. So unwinnable, probably. Tough. Indicates. What's the innovation from last time? Oh, getting shoaled here. So partially what we're doing here is just kind of playing the deck for the first time in a long time. Okay, I want to hold up Boseiju for Necro, so we can do that here. So yeah, part of what we're doing is just playing this deck for the first time in quite some time. It's been a deck I've been asked about a lot lately, like how you would build it. But we're also have updated lists for the metagame. We're main decking a Harbinger and we're main decking a Collector Ouphe, which is something I like. And the sideboard is pretty different now. And then we're also back on flares over walls. So we're probably like 12, 13 cards different from the last time we played the deck. But it isn't so different overall. But there's just been a lot of requests for it. Yeah, we don't really actually draw cards, so we don't care so much about that. I think I'm just going to save these for Nissa mana. Do you have any Upheaval Brews? Not in a while. We have some in the past. You can go to my Moxfield account, type in Upheaval, and a few will pop up. So I think we're going to end up green sunning for Titania and cording for Safekeeper to start the loop. The mana is also a little different. From the last time we played the deck, we're playing one more basic island, one less. I think we're playing two less forest. Okay, their last card is Surgical Extraction. I wasn't thinking that their last card would ever be anything relevant here. So it's actually, if we had not hit a land off this Risen Reef trigger, we couldn't have cast this Reef. But we still could have corded for Safekeeper, which would have been fine. They wouldn't know how they die. Well, I think if they Surgical Extract should be, if they're not familiar with the deck, they may still not know. But we'll show them. We'll be nice. I'm sure some people in the chat aren't familiar with this loop either. Cord for 1. How could you possibly die here? Quarter response to Reef Keepers who don't draw Safekeeper. Ah, yeah, I should be doing that. Only matters in those kind of spots where you don't have any extra mana. Usually to accelerate the loops, I'll just get a Lotus Cobra here. You can also, in these kind of spots, Springheart Nantuko your Risen Reef to get more triggers to make it less likely you're going to fizzle. But I think with this many lands, we just should be good. Although it is true that we have 3 less Windswept Heaths in the deck. Also, the loop ends up going faster if you can cord for Craterhoof before you draw it. Yeah, we're gonna kill this turn. We're gonna be able to Craterhoof them even if we draw it. And if we run out of cards, we get to Endurance ourselves, and we get to sack our lands and shuffle them back into the deck. Just like the Nadu decks of yore. Yeah. I think we go ahead and just play it kind of safe. So now the next time we hit a land, we make 2 mana, then we copy a Risen Reef, and then we get 3 Risen Reef triggers. So we did draw the hoof before we could cord for 8. Is Craterhoof really the best? I think so. So we've had this conversation a lot. Craterhoof is actually something I've won a lot of games with, even when I'm not comboing. I've just been able to like green sun X equals 8 and win games that otherwise wouldn't have been like a deterministic win. So I think that that's a nice point in the direction of Hoof. And we've got like the other options are like Thassa's Oracle, which seems similar, right? Where you have the utility of being able to win in these situations, but not the extra utility of just green sun kill you. It's also just kind of nice to have if they like exile your Safekeeper, then you can't do the loop. Oh, let's stack the triggers. Is my Arbor in the graveyard? Sometimes I'd like to get Arbor mid-loop. In paper, you should be able to do Nadu loop without... Yes, yeah, yeah. In paper, just doing Otawara Boseiju is probably better. We've had that dialogue tree also. I didn't see the Arbor. Maybe I missed it, but I think we'll just get it. Cool. But on Magic Online, just not really an option. So you maybe want Finale instead. Finale is much worse. Then like the card quality is much lower. The Hoof is also, it just has not really been a bad card to have in the deck. All right, don't need any more Reefs. Usually I like to stop at like 3. So now the goal is to make 8 mana here. And then what I like to do when I Endurance is I like to sack my lands so they get back in the deck. So I hold priority. Then I evoke the Endurance. Pitch anything but Craterhoof. Yeah, oh yeah, so yeah, Otawara Boseiju. So in paper, if you just play Otawara Boseiju, you'll be able to loop them in a way that you can just bounce all of your opponent's permanents and get them back down to just all of their basic lands. Which could be a little bit of that could actually be kind of bad against like the current iterations of blue-white. For whatever that's worth, probably not worth all that much. But the current iterations of blue-white do play like 6 basics and they play like the Terminus. All right, so we hit one more land and we can just say no to everything else and hoof them. Why didn't they concede early here? Well, this is a pretty obscure deck and the loop is kind of convoluted. And they they may not be a fan of the stream. Yeah, Reef is a maze, so we could just put these into hand. Obviously, we could make a lot more mana. We could just keep going and going, but better to save clock here. Faithful Ludi with the 3 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, it's nice that the Risen Reef trigger doesn't draw, so if you do Risen Reef your entire deck, you can just still Endurance yourself. Doesn't really matter. I actually can't see the hoof. Make sure it's attacking. Okay, it wasn't attacking. Good thing I double checked there. Just way over here. Hit you with the hoof. Smack you. Alright, we're up against Necro. Let's bring in the Veils. Let's bring in the Outland Liberator for the Necro. Let's cut the Harbinger. Let's cut the Ouphe. So I've been just kind of cutting one of each of these. Post board a lot. I think it's okay. I kind of like using. Yeah, you could use Flare to make extra mana in those spots too. It's part of the reason why Flares are back in the deck. Harbinger just I think we could play some Harbingers on the play potentially. So I'm gonna keep this. I'm probably gonna be going like Hold Up Veil, turn 1, and then turn 2 go Dryad Arbor Flare, and then we can go Green Sun for Reef on turn 3. We can also wait a turn and have a Veil up to protect the Reef. We could also maybe go Green Sun for Grazer and Flare. See what we draw. Not a bad one. Yeah, I think we just do this, save the fetch lands. No Necro. Alright, it's enough Veil of Summers. It's enough. Geesewiser Arbor Flare, it's very do nothing. It kind of filters it, right? Like you have the same number of cards, the same number of lands in play, but this allows me to save the fetch lands for Risen Reef, or sorry, for Lotus Cobra / Nissa turns, because I might want to Green Sun for Nissa. So let's use the mana from the Cobra for the Veil here. Why is Flare better than Surveil Landing? Because I want to be using a fetch land this turn and then a fetch land on the following turn. Like, what if they didn't do this? I wanted to be able to go Cobra, play fetch land, sandbag the fetch land, play fetch land, or sorry, play. I believe I was able to Green Sun for Nissa, sack the fetch land, Green Sun for Nissa, play new fetch land, trigger the Nissa, cast Reef. Because if you don't have anything, Nissa like lets you just get the ball rolling so well. Yeah, just sandbagging the fetch lands is so valuable in this deck. Is this my 100 burden deck? It might be, honestly. I've committed to borrowing Ketramoses and Mox Opals for the like Abzan Gearhulk deck, so I thought I would play, but this one is pretty sweet. I was also thinking about maybe pivoting to the Urza deck. When are they going to make Coco Helia a playable deck of Moto and not die to time, not die to conceding? I don't. If they could implement a loop detection feature, sure, maybe they would have already done it. We've had this conversation a lot, and a lot of times people will say that a loop detection software isn't possible. It isn't, like, the technology isn't there, and then other people will say that it's actually very easy to do. It's very easy to do. So, I have no idea as someone who didn't graduate college. Current record and challenge. It has not started. Starting in about 10 minutes. Third Veil of Summer. It's not enough. Okay, so I have 6 mana here. That's enough to Green Sun for Titania. And then when I get a land back from the Cobra. Yeah, I think we just Green Sun for Titania, and then we can Chord for Safekeeper, and that is almost definitely going to be a win unless they have Damnation. So we can see what we draw. I think the real answer is loop detection is very hard but not impossible. Yeah, I mean, I have sincerely no idea because this is not a topic I know anything about. So, I don't know. Which is probably what, also the people who talk about it is the answer. Kind of new here is wondering what your opinion on the upcoming unban and will Boros be hit and which card should it be in my opinion. It's interesting to think that you would want Boros to be hit. I do think that a lot of cards in Boros are quite good. So now I think I'm just gonna kill the Necro. Like, I think it's way more likely that they ban Underworld Breach than they ban any other single card. I think it's much more likely that that happens. Oh, sorry. I keep doing this. I keep doing this. I keep killing Necro before they... I just give them an extra draw. Sorry about that. 11 cards in exile, huh? Alright, so let's flare this turn. But like, you know, like we're even like just seeing like a metagame where like this, there's a new mid-range deck that is favored against Boros. Like this, the black-white deck is favored against Boros, which is, I think, pretty cool and pretty interesting. Pretty myself don't have a graduate college. I just feel like it's a silly thing to say. I'm not actually bothered about it. Okay, so we're going down to 12. I probably need to play out the Nantuko so I can have blockers. I would prefer to Chord for Reef and then Nantuko on the Reef. I don't think I have... I guess I do have that much time, right? I could just take 10, go to 2. No, I have to win the game next turn. It's not easy enough to do that, I think. Do you think the Necromos deck or the Blink deck is better position? I don't. I think it's close. I haven't played the Necro deck yet. I've been wanting to test it before the Hunter Burton this weekend, but I can't actually tell you. So I can go Hedge Maze. We're thinking Chord for Titania. Well, the problem with Chord for Titania is like we have to top deck something good. So I was thinking I was gonna make a token in response to the Surveil Chord for Nissa. Where like the Nissa is like so good in this deck because like when you're doing your loop, you need a landfall creature and you need a Risen Reef, and then like you kind of chain these things together, and so you start, you know, doing the thing. And so like the fact that Nissa just can get you a Titania or can get you a Reef is so nice. So in these kind of spots where I don't have anything else, I like to try to get Nissa. Oh no, sorry about this. I meant to tap the Nantuko and I just didn't. All right, let's go to game. Well, let's play it out. Sorry, I have a hard time walking and talking today, chatting and playing. All right, now I can't cast this. No, I still can. Wait, no. 5, 6, 7, 8. So I go to 3. But is this lethal? I don't know. I think it's close. Let's just cast it and find out. I think it's not quite there. So yeah, we put them to 1. Dang it. Funny game. Alright, game 3 on the play. Hopefully we can finish this before the challenge starts, although I guess that seems kind of unlikely. Yeah, 1 short. You could bring in Harbinger on the play. I think I just want to combo kill them as quick as I can, because we got the challenge starting. Is there anything we could have done to win last match? With them having the Fatal Push, the outcome there is probably still the same because well, I guess we chump block and then we graveyard the hoof. I'm not sure. It was definitely I do feel like it does certainly seem like there was a diverting path we could have taken. My opponent thought he's turn 2 last game, so I think I'm just gonna play the Nissa out. Okay, no Fatal Push available. Oh yeah, the Necro Draw was the other thing. Yeah, I mean, there's actually a pretty good chance that that was what lost us the game. I just keep forgetting. Good thing Chord of Calling is an instant. I think I'm pretty likely to just be courting for Safekeeper and Boseijuing Necro this turn, so I feel like I'm okay to attack here. No, we're playing Mono Blue Urza in the challenge. Could have been good to play this instead. Let's go ahead and court for the Safekeeper before we Boseiju. If I see a fetch land off the reef, we probably put it into our hand here. Okay, the challenge has started. So let me just cast this Risen Reef and then go over there. Hoping for... okay, sorry about it. Looks like the hand hider scene is broken for some reason. Give me a second. All right, it's a good thing that was a duplicate. It's a little buggy. Do not sweep my board, please. Gutchermo's very fine. Sorry, I don't know why this is going so bad. I meant to update the hand hider. Maybe we'll do that next time. All right, let's take a look at the challenge. We won the die roll, which is nice. Keeping my 7 on the play. Oh, show the hand. Okay, so we win this game now. I'm assuming, I don't really know how they're winning through Safekeeper, but we have our loop. It's going to take a little bit of time to execute. Not really so long, actually, because we are going to be able to get the Lotus Cobra pretty soon. Do you find people are still ghosting? I did feel that way, yeah. Sometimes that was happening. I mean, it was always kind of clear that that was happening. I did feel like it was more of a little bit of a silly thing than real anti-cheat detection. Okay, so my round 1 opponent here has led on Leyline of the Guild Pact. Passing back over here. Yeah, I'm going to actually just combo off on the second monitor. This game is over. The Urza would have been pretty nice. Any creature for an extra blocker would have been okay. What do you think they're playing around with bidding arena? I don't know. I don't know what the thought was. It seems like they missed lethal maybe in at least one way, definitely possibly two. Hard to say. So I think at these kind of spots, what I'm supposed to be doing is courting for a Safekeeper so I can protect my Nissa. Equip, attack, re-equip. Yeah, that was the line. Damn it. That was definitely the line. Tough game, for sure. I think I got a little too focused in on the spin. They could be on main deck Blood Moon, not that it's super likely. Nice to hit the Reef. All right, this is looking good. Should run Blood Moon or Magus the Moons. So Blood Moons if you want extra equity against Eldrazi, and Magus if you want extra equity against just Titan. I was playing Moon just to have the card against both, but Magus is a lot better against Titan, and the Moon is like marginally better against Eldrazi. I think I'm going to be upkeep surveilling here, probably. Is this deck basically Nantuko value? This is more of a combo deck, I think, than a value deck, but there's some value happening for sure. Aren't a lot of time players running multiple Discipline to sideboard? Well, they're also playing multiple Boseijus and multiple Force of Vigors, so I mean, this is partially like, yes, they can answer Magus post board, so this is part of the reason to play Moon instead. But it's a little bit of a wash, I think. Okay, so we hit the Risen Reef. I think I want to surveil. All right, so we'll keep that. Play a Reef. Might as well bestow this turn. Could also be correct to have saved this fetch land. Not actually really sure. I think with the Safekeeper in play, just having more lands to safely keep seems like a priority. Since this discussion came up, there's no such thing as infinite life, mana, damage, and magic. You have to choose a number. Funny enough, apparently there's an infinite combo in Balatro. And I won't bore you guys who don't play Balatro with the specifics, but I was doing the math, and there's like 3 different payoffs for it. You can make infinite planets, you can make infinite money, or you can make infinite jokers. But you have to execute a loop. So you could do $50 at a time, you could do 2 planets at a time, or you could do 1 joker at a time. And the 1 joker has a 0.03% chance to be negative, so you can technically get every joker. So me and Esther were calculating what it would take to get to the maximum point threshold in Balatro if you did infinite money and you did the 2 jokers that scaled off of just money. And it would take about 85 years to get to E22 if you were born. You spent your entire life doing the combo. You never slept. You never ate. You never took a break. Then you died at 85. If that was your life, then you would get to about E25 if you had both of the jokers you needed. And so so it seems like planets are better. But me and Esther decided that we could start a religion where you have 3 children, and those 3 children, they do 8-hour shifts. 8-hour shifts of the Balatro, and then between the 3 of them, they need to provide 3 heirs, and then in about 400 years, you could complete the run with a Nanand. This sounds abusive. It's a religion. Very different. They're at 32. Yeah, but we got it all mapped out. Yeah, I mean, I think the Craterhoof would probably just be lethal if we cast it, but we could just effectively deterministic loop here. I think I'm going to get a 4th Risen Reef in play at least. The 4th Risen Reef is a lot of Risen Reefs. Let's chord for the Lotus Cobra here.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
It's better to just get the Titania. Both should be fine. I think this is going to be a little bit more tedious. So I have two non-Craterhoof attackers here. I really don't want to have to Green Sun for Titania, but I also really don't want to do the math. I don't want to do the math. How long have I had this chord in my hand? Yeah, maybe I will play this at the Hunter Burton. It's just so beautiful. And it's a good Hunter Burton deck too, I think. All right, so one more land in play. We could just cast this hoof. Okay, perfect. This should be enough. Oh no, I have to do Craterhoof math. Maybe this isn't a good Hunter Burton deck. Wait, oh no, is Titania a May ability? Oh no. All right, hoof. This should be enough. There are 29 tramplers, and I have 3 of them. Okay. All right, so just bring in an endurance, and cut the Harbinger and cut the Ouphe. Don't have hoof and paper? Right. Right, just play the Ode of War instead. I don't know. I might just play the hoof and paper, y'all. I don't know if I want to Nadu loot people in paper. Also, like, okay, how does that actually work in paper too? Like, your opponent's like, if I say here's my loop and my opponent goes, okay, play it out, we just draw, right? If they just say those words. If they don't, can they just say, okay, I want you to play it out? Does the game just end in a draw at that point? So I think I want to go Flare so I can have the Safekeeper to protect the Reef. Then you just start going. Yeah, I might just play the Craterhoof to avoid this situation. No, they can't force you to play it out if you demonstrate a loop. Well, okay, so I'm worried that a judge wouldn't realize it's deterministic. And I'm also not, I don't know that I could like prove to them it's deterministic either. So yeah, I know some people at the Pro Tour just play Thassa's Oracle, but I also like some people I don't think even understood the loop. Okay, getting pretty flooded here. What is the loop? So the loop would be. It's also like the loop is also not infinite because you lose one green card in your deck every time you do it. So the loop is you evoke Endurance, you shuffle the Endurance back into your deck, and then you draw Boseiju and you draw Otawara. You Boseiju a land, you bounce a permanent, and you can do this. You can do this until all their lands are Boseiju and all their permanents are bounced. But the problem is the loop does cause you to. Sorry. It doesn't cost you to do that, right? Because you Springheart Nantuko your Endurance, you Springheart Nantuko your Endurance, and then it is just deterministic. Okay. I think maybe on the draw we should have played a Force. Let's just run it back on the play. So, I think we keep this on the play. Is deterministic call for the Hedge Edge? Okay. Okay, so just putting a pause on that part of the conversation, though. There is also like the dynamic that people will play the Seif's blue-white list. People will definitely be there playing the Seif's blue-white list, and they'll just have 6 basics, and I'll just get Terminist. Like, how could we avoid this happening? I wonder. I'm saying, should I maybe still play the Hoof? Doesn't sound shortcuttable. It's the same as Nadu. Like it is just the case that you'll be able to Boseiju and Otawara their entire library. Play both. Yeah, maybe just play both. Seems okay. Can this deck not functionally play both Boseiju or Otawara enough? It can. The thinking though is like if you can play an Otawara in your deck instead of a Craterhoof, you don't have this like 8-mana creature that you might draw and lose the game because of. No discharge is good news. So my doctor said the other day. One of Ghost Quarter. So the problem is Risen Reef puts the lands into play tapped. It's not a Nadu. It puts it into play tapped. So you can't loop Ghost Quarter, but you can loop Boseiju and Otawara because you can put the card into your hand. They have a Bolt. I guess we're Endurancing again. Okay. A one of Sun-Scorched Desert. Would work. Yeah, so can't block the cat anymore. Yeah, the desert might just be good because I do just think people are gonna be playing the Seif's list at the 100 Burton. The issue is that because you aren't killing them with the loop, you have to pass the turn. After that means you set up an accurate board state. Yeah, that's true. The accurate board state with this deck is way more complicated with all the tokens. Why can't you block the cat? Because they have Bombardment. They just sack 1 cat to kill my Endurance. I'm also currently dead on board. So let's just concede. 1 Ghost Quarter plus 1 Simic Growth Chamber could also work. Wait, how do you get the Ghost Quarter into play though? GG's. A good match. Is there any kind of discard out that could tie the Urza Counterspell and Monument of Endurance together? It would be Cookbook, I guess. It should be 6 rounds. Wait, 7 rounds? Oh, I really thought this was like a... Oh, I saw... Okay, I thought it was 40 players, not 80. So 7 rounds. Okay, they suspend a Lotus Bloom, so hopefully you draw a land and can just Green Sun for Ouphe here. It's actually pretty good. Because Safekeeper plus Ouphe is just like unbeatable. Do have to resolve the Green Sun though, but... Cross that bridge, I guess. So I'm actually going to go Green Sun X equals 3 to play around Shoal better. They also may just ignore it, right? Alright, GG. They say, oh, lol. GG. Game 1. Collector Ouphe in play. Alright. Yeah, they're just Safekeeper, like, they just can't do anything. So we'll bring in the Veils and an extra Safekeeper. And the Consigns. I think when I've played this matchup in the past, I've, like, cut Craterhoof and Titania and just... And Endurance. And Endurance is okay in the matchup. But just cut all of these and just focus on getting an Ouphe in play and protecting it and then drawing a ton of cards. Let's keep the Titania in. Let's go down to 2 Nissa. Soulless Jailer should be brought in. Okay, yeah, you're right. Stops Suspend Blooms and Tamashi. Yeah, win game 1, board in. Like 11 cards now. Oh, this is 61? Okay, let's go down to 1 Nantuko. Seems like a good matchup. Seems like a good matchup. Well, it's not Mulligan. Suspends a Bloom. We graveyard that. Save the fetch land now, probably. And so... It is kind of bad if we can sign the Lotus from coming down and our opponent just cast a Charboucher and then we're 1 short of being able to Chord X equals 2. Let's see what happens this turn and what we draw. Force of Negation, Sink, Specimen. They choose Sink. And then they play a Sink. Untap, so they have like Spell Snare. Okay, so to consign a Lotus Bloom effectively, you have to let the first trigger resolve, which is to remove the last counter. And then another trigger goes with the stack, which lets you cast the Bloom. And that's what we want to stop. So we want to avoid untap land Belcher. Also, the bloom is perma-exiled, which is relevant against Tamashi, of course. Okay. Needed to draw a Green Sun or an Ouphe or a Boseiju. Alright, let's win game 3. Maybe I just want to cut the flares and get the grazers back in. Being a little, I mean, we were all the draw, but being just slow there was pretty tough. Just played the full 4 grazer. All right, into game 3 on the play. We have Green Sun and we have Veil. It's kind of hard to mulligan that. It's a very slow hand. Why not keep Consign for Belcher, Afraid of War for 4? Yeah, if they just have Tamashi, you lose. I think the problem is I need 2 lands to Green Sun and Veil up. Okay, this hand's way better. So it seems like I should bottom Chord or Consign. Have I considered a Neoform version? No, not really. I don't think there's really much to the idea of a Neoform version. I think it gets kind of suggested pretty regularly to play one of those, but it doesn't... Like, what are we doing? Are we playing Ice Fang and Coiling Oracle in our deck? It doesn't really fit. Bottom of the island since you're playing a 23-land deck. Well, the thing is, I just need this 3rd land. I need this 3rd land to go Ouphe into Green Sun for Ouphe. Or Green Sun for Safekeeper might be better. Just doesn't seem like I really need the Consign this game. All right, first Ouphe dealt with. I think while they just have no mana up, we should cast this, and if they force it, then we can try to chord for another one. We're 2-1 in the challenge. We beat Affinity and we beat Boros, so we lost to Domain Zoo. Suspend a Lotus Bloom. Okay, I wasn't expecting that to just resolve. I guess I Veil, but I don't, you know. Doesn't seem like a winning line, though, for them. But also, if this works, and it seems like it'll work, these 2 cards in play are like almost impossible for them to beat. Unless they're playing a Shape Anew. But they scooped game 1, so probably not. Shoal Force, a little late. They do choose Shoal. Maybe better Safekeeper first. It doesn't really matter because if we Veil, we protect the thing. I guess you could have like double Dismember. And they pitch a Tamashi. Would matter if they had Force. Force plus Dismember, I guess. Is there a reality where they play Hibernation? I mean, probably. Probably not this reality, though. Suspends another Bloom. So if we draw land, we could just chord for Titania, maybe. Yeah, Hibernation was actually kind of a popular sideboard card when Leyline Scion first became a thing. It would make, you bounce the ley line and all their bindings and all their creatures. But it was pretty bad when they just didn't draw the ley line of the Guild Pact. It felt like every time you had hibernation, they didn't have ley line of the Guild Pact, and every time they had ley line of the Guild Pact, you didn't have hibernation. Okay, glad I kept the Titania in. We don't have the Craterhoof in our deck anymore, so there was no reason to go for the loop on our turn. So we need 3 5/3s to win. Yeah, we could make more than that for sure. Oh, I was gonna fetch the breeding pool so I can keep consign up. Excuse me. Obviously not a problem, I imagine. What changed in the updates? Not started. We're back on flares. We're main decking an Ouphe. We're main decking a Harbinger. Sideboard is also different in general. We're playing a Boseiju in the main. I don't think we played one in the main of Simic before. I was worried about the quantity of fetches and fetchables, but you can play one less. So you get to play Boseiju. Okay, so we're 3-1 in this league, and there are still 10 matches going. Yeah, let's go ahead and try to finish this league up. Last seen 2 days ago on Mono Red Burn. Probably still on it. Let's mulligan. Opponents taking their time here on their mulligan decision, huh? I wonder if they know if I'm in the challenge or not. Well, they showed up 2 minutes ago and said, hi, good luck, have fun. Okay, so we're on 5. This will be a grade 7 or a grade 6. Yeah, I think I just want to be going Green Sun for Arbor into Nantuko Bestow on Arbor. Make some tokens for the Chord of Calling. Kind of sad. They only have 4 bolts. I think we just cast it. Got a lot of lands in the deck. Could also just draw a Grazer and double Landfall trigger maybe. Looking for land, looking for love. No bolt is good. Maybe Skewer. Ragavan. Okay, well, that was not so good against my Nantuko if I draw a land. The Dryad Arbor is out of the deck, sadly. Just passing the turn here. Tough mull to 5. Could play 2 Arbors. Second Arbor is good sometimes. How was Epsi the other day? So in my league off stream, I started off 3-0. We finished that league, and we finished 4-1. And then I decided to play the other deck after that. So didn't really play a lot of it. It's fine. Just wanted to kind of give my take on Burn to the people who are interested in that kind of stuff, you know. Interesting that they would cast this now and not save it for the prowess. You're playing versus my nemesis Damien? Damien's my nemesis? I'm not trying to be fun. I don't know who this is. Burn and Legacy is good. In Modern, it's good. This is Modern. I don't know about Legacy. Have I played any Marvel Eldrazi lately? I haven't. I was thinking about playing it in the Hunter Burton, though. Might still. Alright, game 2. Maybe should be having like a real sideboard plan for this matchup. I'm gonna keep the Harbinger in. I think Harbinger's actually probably fine. I think I just have to play Second Endurance, click Submit. Okay, on the play. We have the Hoof, which kind of stinks, but I can go turn 1 Flare into... Yeah, I guess this doesn't really do much, as usual. Alright, let's keep this on 6. Play Jailer over Endurance to survive. Well, I think Endurance can do that too. It's a bit more synergistic, but yeah, it might be a fine direction to go. Stops bumping the Night Flashback. It's like the worst draws we've had all league. Yeah, Veil of Summer stops exactly bumping the night. I don't think that's enough of a reason to bring one in. Lava Spike. Suspends a Rift Bolt. I've drawn a land. I guess if I still had Wall of Roots in the deck, I would Chord for a Wall or Green Sun for a Wall of Roots. Yeah, I think so. With the Rift Bolt suspended. Such a weird game. You could take 1 copy of Weather Storm to hedge against the rare Burn and Storm matchup. Weather Storm is not good against Storm. Very common misconception. It is like pretty easy for... it's pretty easy for your Storm opponents to just Grape Shot you again for lethal. If they Grape Shot you for 20, you Weather the Storm gain 60. They can just they can kill you. They can deal 40 more damage that turn. But if I was gonna play a hedge for burn, I would also want something that I could Green Sun for, or that I could Chord for. So I would play probably the 0-3 Landfall gain a life card that's cost 1 mana. So dead to another 1 mana burn spell. Nice, my nemesis apparently, Damian has slain me. Okay, so 3-2, our first league with Naduless Nadu today. We're 2-1 in the challenge. 4 matches left. Yeah, Johnny offshoot. I think probably for our next league, I'll pivot over to the updated Mako Monument deck. But let me